Hello, and welcome back to Crime Cat Podcast, where we delve into the most bone-chilling, wicked, and twisted stories that haunt the mind. Today we discuss the tragic murder of Andre Montgomery Jr. Before we start, viewers be warned. This video contains graphic and disturbing content, including descriptions of violence and murder. Listener/viewer discretion is advised. Some details may be unsettling or triggering for certain individuals. The chilling tale of greed, betrayal, and murder unfolded in St. Louis, Missouri, casting a dark shadow over the once bright reality TV show Welcome to Sweetie Pies. At the heart of this disturbing plot was James Timothy Norman, a man who, despite his public persona as a beloved family patriarch, harbored a sinister secret. The victim, Andre Montgomery Jr., a promising young man and a beloved member of the Sweetie Pies family, was tragically cut short in his prime. On March 14, 2016, he fell victim to a cold-blooded murder orchestrated by his own uncle. Andre Montgomery, a young man with dreams and aspirations, was lured back to St. Louis by his uncle, James "Tim" Norman, with the promise of guidance and opportunity. However, Norman's intentions were far from noble. He saw his nephew as a mere pawn in a sinister game of greed and deception. Norman, driven by a thirst for financial gain, took out a life insurance policy on Andre without his knowledge. This cold-blooded act set the stage for a tragic and untimely demise. As Andre struggled to find his footing in St. Louis, Norman's patience wore thin. The young man's rebellious behavior and failure to conform to his uncle's expectations only fueled Norman's dark desires. To ensure the policy's payout, he enlisted the help of a network of conspirators, including Terica Ellis, a woman who, for a paltry sum of $10,000, agreed to lure Montgomery to his doom. When Andre resurfaced the following spring in St. Louis, it was time for Norman to cash in on the life insurance policy. But by that point, Norman was living in Los Angeles, hence the need to involve Travell Hill, the hired gun, and Chris Carroll, Norman's man on the ground in St. Louis. Weeks before the murder, Hill and Carroll met to discuss Hill's fee, and Carroll told him that he was asking for too much money to kill Andre. When Andre showed up at Sweetie Pies, Carroll and a security guard texted Norman about his return. Norman flew to St. Louis a week later. He met with Hill the next day and asked if he had talked to Carroll, a question Hill interpreted as confirmation that Norman wanted to kill Andre. Hill bought a gun. That same day, Norman invited Terica Ellis to his hotel. He told her that he was looking for Andre, and she agreed to find him. Norman gave her $10,000. Communications then volleyed between Ellis and Andre, the victim, and between Ellis, Hill, and Norman, the conspirators. Ellis pinned Andre down after a few hours, and on that fateful day in 2016, on Hill's orders, Ellis got Andre in her car. Andre left the car just a few moments later, and Ellis saw a text from Hill. "Move!" Shots rang out as she sped off, and Andre was dead. Ultimately, Ellis, acting on Norman's orders, lured Andre to a secluded location. There, Hill, armed with a deadly weapon, carried out the cold-blooded murder. The once vibrant and promising young man was silenced forever, a victim of his uncle's insatiable greed. The intricate web of deceit and violence was slowly unraveled by dedicated law enforcement officers. After a meticulous investigation, Norman, Ellis, Hill, and Y.L. Yagnum, Norman's former insurance agent, were brought to justice. Norman, the mastermind behind the heinous plot, was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder for hire, and conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud. He now faces a life sentence behind bars, a fitting punishment for his cold-blooded crime. The shooter, Travell Anthony Hill, 31, was sentenced to 32 years in prison. Hill pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder for hire and 1 count of murder for hire, and testified at Norman's trial. The case serves as a stark reminder that darkness can lurk beneath even the most seemingly idyllic facades. It is a cautionary tale about the destructive power of greed and the importance of justice, even in the face of the most heinous crimes. The chilling tale of James "Tim" Norman, the disgraced reality TV star, continues to haunt the family. Norman, known for his role in the popular reality show Welcome to Sweetie Pies, was found guilty of orchestrating the murder of his own nephew, Andre Montgomery, in a cold-blooded scheme to collect a hefty life insurance payout. Norman's conviction was upheld by the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals, solidifying his fate behind bars. The court rejected Norman's appeal, which challenged several key rulings made by the district court during his trial. One of the central issues raised by Norman was the refusal of 2 potential witnesses, Carroll and Yagnum, to testify. Norman argued that these witnesses had waived their Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and should have been compelled to take the stand. However, the court disagreed, finding that the witnesses' claims of privilege were valid and that they faced genuine risks of self-incrimination. The court also addressed Norman's contention that the district court erred in admitting certain evidence, including hearsay text from Montgomery and an out-of-court statement from Carroll. The court, however, found no merit in these arguments, upholding the district court's rulings. With the appellate court's decision, Norman's path to freedom is effectively blocked. His conviction stands, and he will likely spend the rest of his life behind bars, paying the ultimate price for his heinous crime. A web of deceit was woven, involving a cast of conspirators who would play crucial roles in the tragic outcome. Terica Ellis, a woman desperate for money, was recruited to lure Andre into a deadly trap. Travell Hill, a ruthless killer, was hired to execute the sinister plan, and Y.L. Yagnum, Norman's insurance agent, facilitated the fraudulent life insurance policy. The ensuing legal battle was just as complex and convoluted as the crime itself. Norman's attempts to evade justice were thwarted by a determined prosecution team. The court's decision to uphold the witnesses' Fifth Amendment rights highlighted the delicate balance between the defendant's right to confront witnesses and the witnesses' right to protect themselves from self-incrimination. The case of Andre Montgomery serves as a chilling reminder of the destructive power of greed and the lengths to which some will go to achieve their selfish desires. It is a cautionary tale that underscores the importance of justice and the unwavering pursuit of truth. Let's recap. The victim was a young adult, full of aspirations, named Andre Montgomery Jr., a nephew of Tim Norman. The murder occurred on March 14, 2016, in St. Louis, Missouri. The accused, Tim Norman, a reality TV star from the show Welcome to Sweetie Pies, and uncle to the victim, Andre Montgomery. The motive for murder was financial gain. Norman took out a $450,000 life insurance policy on his nephew. Conspirators included Terica Ellis and Wael Yagnam, which were involved in the murder-for-hire plot. Norman was found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and mail fraud. Norman was sentenced to life in prison. Terica Ellis pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder for hire and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. The case gained significant media attention due to Norman's involvement in the reality TV show Welcome to Sweetie Pies. As we close this episode, our thoughts and condolences are with the victims' families for all our stories. Losing a loved one is never easy, but losing them in such a violent way is a wound that never fully heals. As always, we thank you for your support. Don't forget to subscribe to Crime Cat Podcast for more bone-chilling, wicked, and twisted episodes.